All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Thursday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for all the potential double tops in the market. Good morning to you, Dennis. Pretty quiet session. Besides for that dip down to 1343, back up just a little bit over settlement.
Yeah, we've had a quiet 10-point range, kind of just hanging out here, up a buck and a half here, Joel.
What did someone say something in Europe to make us go down to 1343, or is it just some good old-fashioned selling?
Yeah, I don't know what really overnight because actually at the 8 o'clock equities closed last night, the market was relatively flat, and when I got in around 6:30, the market was relatively flat. So I guess I got to start trading in the middle of the night to get those
You're
spots where
not
we're
doing
down.
your job, Dennis. You're going to sleep on us, man. Jeez, I'm
Can't
gonna have to get
sleep.
someone new in here.
Sleep.
Anyways, I mentioned the double tops, and there's possible double top, of course, in the S&Ps after the sell-off regarding the Fed announcement. We got the 1355.50. That's just below Tuesday's high at 1357. So that's a monster area, Dennis. We got to get through there in order to continue going. And coinciding with that, we have double tops in almost half of the Big Ten.
Hmm.
Apple Computer running into trouble here at 590, trading below that level right now in the pre-market. IBM, you talk about that whole number theory, Dennis, and sure enough, it's coming fruition here in IBM.
Yeah, it really is here. This 200 area, big psychological number. We know there's some institutional size there too, and those high frequency traders the last couple of sessions have put a lid on it right in the 199.90 area. So that's where you're running into the whole high frequency resistance as they lean in front of that big 200 level.
And kind of coinciding with the whole number theory, Microsoft has been trading over 31, but not by much. Got a couple highs in Microsoft, one at 3105 and the other one at 3111, so you got major resistance there. Staying with that theme, good old GE trying to hold on above 20. In GE, you have a couple interesting things to point out here. You got a double top and a double bottom. 2014 and 2015, the last two highs, and 1985, last 2 days
Oh
lows, and 1975 was backing it up. So
yeah, right.
trade the range.com for GE.
Yeah, that's actually a good point there. I was looking at the highs, but there's that two double bottoms that you just point out there too, Joel.
And for the last one to continue with this theme, Chevron Corporation almost knocking on the door of a triple top here. 103.97 snuck in there as the low on Monday, but 104.50 to
Wow.
104.65. Monster resistance,
Yeah,
Dennis.
5, 6 tops there over the last few days, just over that 104.50 area. So somebody looks like they're dumping a piece there.
Okay, so there's that theme we have. The SPOO still 6 points off the high. J&J still continues this unbelievable climb from under $62, $5 straight up, running into the size at 67. But I saw a big print there on the close at 67. They get rid of that guy yet? Or that
Actually,
girl?
actually, this is a good thing for our listeners to understand. There was a huge print at 67, but there was offsetting. It was on the closing print on New York, and there was offsetting MOC orders, which are market on close orders. Any market order has priority over limit orders. So the guy that's been sitting there with his limit order at 67 still didn't get done, despite I think there was 300,000 shares of trade at that price on the close. So he's sitting there trying to get down his couple of 100,000 shares of 67, and he still doesn't get done because of his MOC orders, mostly probably short-term high-frequency traders that were picking up 66, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and then they sell into the imbalance, which was a buy imbalance, on the MOC, on the market on close, and then they get filled at 67. So they make their 3, 4, 5 cents, and the poor guy sitting there with the limit order at 67 still wants to be executed. So keep that in mind. They might take him right off the opening print here. It all depends on what the S&P does.
Okay, one stock definitely not forming a double bottom, and that's Procter Gamble. Lowers guidance, traded under the $60 level for the first time in months here.
Wow.
Did get a little bit of a rally, did close over $60. I guess you really got to keep an eye on 61 on this. You had a cluster of lows there before the bad news took it through 61.
Yeah, this is one I didn't think they'd take it through 60, but they did, and that's what these high frequency traders, that's what the short term traders try to do. Sometimes they take it through the big whole number, trigger some stocks or some stops. We've talked about that before. It's exactly what they did. They took it down, got as low as, what was the low? 59.85 or 89, 81. 59.81. So they took it down through 20 cents, but then bounced at 70 cents up to 60.50. Kept holding up. It did hold that $60 level, so that's still a big number for this stock. That 60 needs to hold. I would not want to see the stock start making new lows under 59.81 because it could get ugly here again. But you never know. If that $60 area can hold for a day or two, maybe we start to form a bottom, start to rally a bit. There is some value in this one.
Okay, speaking of global slowdowns, maybe people aren't smoking as many cigarettes during this recession. Philip Morris trading down.
Yeah, Philip Morris lowering guidance. Stock has not traded very much, only 1,100 shares, as you can see right there. $87 is the last print, bid at 87.05. Offered up at 88.20. So it looks like right now, from an hour before the open, it looks like we're indicated to open somewhere between 87 and 88. So it is going to open down. Interesting. This stock has had quite the run up. So if it really started to rock and roll, it could start to take out some levels. But it's typically a lower beta stock, doesn't move around a heck of a lot. So I don't think you're going to see this thing down to $3 or $4, but could fall down a couple bucks, Joel.
Okay, obviously this ran into a big seller at the $89 levels as the HFT guys got active at 80, 88.81 and 88.93 the last
Right.
couple days. That certainly won't be coming into play. A very unusual pre-market chart here. Just a couple trades just going all the way down. Go to the dailies, 87.19, 87.30 were your 3 and 4 day lows. We are trading below those levels, so they will act as resistance. Coming below that, Dennis, you could see it could slice through the 87s pretty easily because I don't see another low there till 85, 89. Then, of course, coming back on the upside, 87, 84 will be major resistance as that was yesterday's low. Uh, BBBY. Maybe they don't need all those B's in their name. What's going on with that stock today?
Triple BY, Bed Bath and Beyond, announcing earnings, but the guidance is what's hitting the stock last night. Joel, find the after hours low for you. The stock is trading down significantly, though, here in the pre-market. It's down $7.62, just over 10%. So this stock is getting hit pretty hard here. Looking at these levels here, we got to go back to March when this stock was trading at these levels. You had a 64.71 low on March 23rd. You also had on March the 19th, you had a 64.23 low. This stock really starts to get down. I think this 65 here could stall it, but it's hard to say. It seems like there was a retailer getting, really beat up here every other day, Joel.
Do they have those over in Canada?
Retailer, Bed Bath and Beyond. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
So have you ever
Told
been
you I
in
don't
one?
shop, so I don't know. I have been in the store. Actually, I have been in the store before.
Because you can't get across the store. You either have to go. I mean, I just don't go in there because if I need something in the middle, I mean, they're so big, and you just have to walk all the way around one way or another. And it's really hard to find stuff. So obviously, other people are having problems finding stuff there as well, and not buying as much. The pre-market chart on this one, and we've talked about this formation in the past. 65.26 is where it plunged to in the pre-market, but since then, it's had a really tight range between 65.26 and now its recent high where it's trading just over the $66 level. So my inkling is that there's some buyer, someone that's been short this thing the whole year, perhaps is using this opportunity to cover in the $66 area. If that doesn't hold, the pre-market low of 65.26 looks pretty good. That also coincides with some lows that we had. Well, that's actually below the March lows. So keep a real eye on 65 and a quarter to 66. One retailer that's all doing a little bit better, BBY.
You're getting me all confused. These BBBYs, BBYs. Yeah, actually, Best Buy in the news here today. Here's a stock that bottomed back in May. We got as low as 17.53. Stock's getting a lift this morning. They're raising the dividend just slightly, so the stock's up about 13 cents. Nothing, to really write home about, but it's formed a nice base here. You had major resistance in this 20 area. We've got above there, had a couple closes above 20. Are we going to start rocking and rolling and starting to fill up here and maybe try to get up to 21 today, Joel?
That's going to be some big resistance.
Yeah.
That 21 is what I'm looking at. This is really not trading too far out of yesterday's range, so you can use this 2045. Is there any size at 20 and a half or not really?
No, I don't see anything.
Okay, so if this thing can hang in here, open unchanged with the good news, I could see it popping up and testing the 2091. But to be honest with you, Best Buy, I do buy things there. I'm not one of those people that goes there and scout things out, go to Amazon. If I want to buy something, I go there, I look at, they're extremely helpful, they're extremely nice, and I do go there, so I am bullish BBY.
Yeah, the only thing, it raised the dividend by 1 cent, so it's not really.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I'm not saying this thing. I don't think you're going to rally, 2, 3, 5% off a 1 cent dividend increase. But who knows? If it gets rocking and rolling, you can look at yesterday's high up there in the 2090 area. Maybe we can fill up and get up to that area.
Okay, Red Hat flipping its lid here in the pre-market.
Yeah, Red Hat, not good. Stock had earnings there last night. Is getting taken out behind the woodshed, trading 51.10 right now. Keep an eye on this low from June. We had a low just below $50 at 49.45 before we started running up here in the entire month of June. We're giving back the entire June gains are here today. Probably this 50 area's got to think you might find some buyers. Where did this thing get down to there in after hours, Joel?
Well, the same guy that was buying before there was buying again last night. 49.48 has been the
Oh wow,
pre-market
right
low.
on the nose, to that
Yep,
low. Yeah.
yep. Did get a bounce after that to 52. Came back again. Now, when we came back down the second time, 50 held.
50 held, so 50.
Yep. So that's going to be a tough area. 49.48 to 50. Also had some other lows and Junes between that area. On the upside, you could get some massive short covering if we do get over $52. Kind of some of these biotechs making some news today.
Yeah, there is. ONXX is
Woohoo!
one. That thing is flying here. FDA is backing their cancer drug. I think they're calling it Kyprolis. I never know how to pronounce these
Is
things.
that for kippers?
I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you, this thing is taking off. I think, is this a new all-time high for the stock?
Oh, by
I'm
far.
going back
Yep.
to '05, and it was up at 60. It's trading 61.14. Was that the all-time high there?
The all-time high is over the $60 level at 61.18.
Okay, so we're right there. We're right there flirting with an all-time high on this one. ONXX. So it's up 36% today. That's what these biotechs, some of them, they get a good drug and boom, they're off to the races. Well, obviously this whole $60 level, you can look back to '07 and even into '04. I'm looking there, and you did get $60, looked to be big. So keep an eye on that level. What's your take?
63 and a quarter is where the euphoria took this over to. So I would keep it if it really starts to keep going. 63 and a quarter. A lot of times, if we mention on this show, a lot of times it doesn't get to the pre-market levels. 63 and a quarter would be the thing to keep an eye on if you're trying to sell the top. But one thing to note here, Dennis, almost 2 million
Wow.
shares have
Yeah.
traded in this. That's just unbelievable. So there's a believer. I mean, people wouldn't be buying it up here if they thought it was just going to go right back down. So not recommending a short in this one until we get under 60.
It's not all good in biotech land, though. You've got Celgene. Actually, they got a cancer drug there too, but they just postponed the application for, I think what they call it, Revlimid. You can rate me in if I'm not pronouncing it right. But they're postponing their application, so that is actually getting beat up today. So Revlimid is knocking Celgene down $60.35. This is trading right now after closing at 67.16. We got to go out to the weeklies to try to find you some support. We're through a lot of different areas. This whole 60 area in October, it bottomed right on the button at $60 on November 25th, actually. And then if you go back before then, we had a couple lows just below the 60 area. Is that going to hold?
Well, obviously, people that trade in the pre-market didn't think so. Is this traded down to 57.76?
Wow.
So even though you see this stock down 7 points, is actually on a 3 point rally,
Right.
and that rally is stalling right here at just under 61. So keep an eye on the 61 level as resistance. Above there, of course, you could always get some short coming, and I don't think it's going to get back down to that 57.76 level. I think that 60 provides a lot of support from the daily charts.
Yeah, this stock can be wild, obviously, as you can see when it falls $7 and then was down 10. So it's gonna have a wild range wherever it goes. And maybe keep an eye on those numbers if they do get back down in that area. Maybe find some more buyers. The old,
It,
what was
Go
that?
ahead, Dennis.
I was just gonna say one more that's reporting hasn't really had any trades, very few trades. Conagra Foods, CAG. This is a real low beta stock, obviously one of your food stocks. 2488 just traded there about 3,400 times, all at the same price. So it is bid up a little bit higher. This has a heck of a downtrend. We can draw that trend for you here. Try to draw it on the chart there, but heck of a downtrend. If I obviously got up to about this 25-20 area, be at the top of the trend line. So for you trend traders out there, if you think this stock can hold and gets up there just over the $25 area, maybe it'll find some sellers.
2505 was yesterday's high. 2499, 98, 95. A lot of resistance here. Actually, going all the way back to June 6th, all the highs have been between 24.95 and 25. Did have one at 25.29. Someone's wanted out at this $25 level. See if we can find some buyers to satisfy those sellers and perhaps move up to test resistance at 25.5.
Yeah, that's all I've really got for movers here. We're only up 25 on this, or 0.25 points on this boost, so very, very quiet on the overall market. Any closing thoughts?
We talk about whole number theories and the stocks and whatnot, but whole number theories in the S&P 500. I know people talk about the cash, but the cash doesn't trade at night, so I don't follow it. But this whole 1350 area had two closes in the S&Ps, one at 1350, one at 1350.75. Very rarely do you see two closes in the same area. So I think it's very important for the market to hold this level, make the third close over 1350, gain some momentum, perhaps to test the 1370 level. If we can't hold this 1350 level, we could just meander our way back down to 1300. That's our show for today, folks, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.